Well, today I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on the chasing cardboard debacle, on the card porn scandal, and a reaction video to the sports card dad. You ready? Then let's do it. Hello and welcome, rookie card collecting friends. Victor, the rookie card specialist. And if this is your first time in this channel, welcome. This channel here, it's all about the rookie card. We look at the past and present day status of the rookie card, all in an effort to better understand the future of this hobby icon. Now, guys, real quick, just want to share that this past week has been a very ugly week in the hobby. This past week, I literally felt ashamed of being a hobby content creator on YouTube. That's how dramatic this entire YouTube hobby content space has gotten. It's not just on YouTube, but certain things within the hobby that is just, you get tired of hearing the same thing over and over and over again. Shadiness, just some flat out scandals, people cheating, and people attacking one another. Let's get right into it. I'm going to be short and sweet here. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but I'm going to start with the Ty Wilson over at Chasing Cardboard. Now, listening to everything that I unfortunately had to listen to, I'm going to give and just like an overall synopsis. There's no need in reliving it, but I do want to share kind of how I feel about it and some thoughts that have been running through my head. First off, how something so small, how a molehill can become a mountain, how something so small can get so big, to me, is just a bunch of
bullshit.
PSA and BGS quickie authentication is also more
Bullshit.
every single second of every single reaction video on the topic was a bunch of
Bullshit.
hobby content creators attacking other hobby content creators is also
Bullshit.
moving on. In the same vein, the entire card porn Juan Garcia scandal. This is what we can do with it. Crumble it up and throw it right in the garbage can because it's a bunch of
Bullshit.
I am just getting so sick and tired of these scandals, schemes, this disgraceful underhandedness that goes on in this hobby. And it's nothing new, guys. This goes back decades. Okay. If you're new to the hobby, I'm going to encourage you, do your diligence, do your homework. And don't get duped by these con artists. Okay, listen, there's books that have been written about this. Okay, I highly recommend a book by the name of Operation Bullpen, written by Kevin Nelson. In this book, he's going to explain to you kind of the scandal that has been going on since like the 1980s and how the FBI got involved, and there was this big crackdown on just, and it goes into detail on some of the things that these con artists, the kind of what they do. And we as hobbyists, we need to be aware of this sort of thing. You need to be educated on this kind of thing, especially if you're into autographs and you're into memorabilia and that sort of thing. Listen, don't get duped, guys. Do your diligence, do your homework, because there's a lot of trash out there. And for me, I just think that this is a prime real estate here for fanatics to just take over this market, and just everything has to go through them. And they should just put all of these athletes to just filter through fanatics, and you're going to have to get it professionally authenticated through them, and it has to be legit. There has to be some kind of system in place for this stuff, because this is it's just flat out ridiculous. And the industry needs to really crack down on this sort of thing. Enough is enough with these scams, man. Grow up. Let me move on. In a little bit of hobby news, I typically only like to talk about hobby news that really just focuses on rookie cards, right? And a couple things that have come up this past week that are interesting. The first one is the 2023 Topps McDonald's All-American product that's set to be released on September 27th. And featured in it, right, is cards of Bronny James, LeBron James' son, right? He's going to be featured in this product. He's going to have autograph cards in this product. That's great, right? For those of you who like autographs. I tend to prefer autographs of young players because they seem to sign a little bit cleaner. Their signatures are a little bit nicer their first year or two. And then after that, it just seems to get sloppier and sloppier. But what I really like about this set is that it's a 100 card base set, and they split it up with the between male and female athletes. So you're going to have both athletes in there from the East Coast and from the West Coast. And I just like how they kind of balanced it out, right? And they featured all of the athletes for the McDonald's All-American team. And I really like that concept. But I know, I'm starting to hear little trickles of it here and there already. People who are identifying this Bronny James card in this product as a rookie card. Folks, I know it's hard because the hype machine really, pumps these things up, right? And we get excited about certain things in the hobby, especially with a talent that's speculated to be in Bronny James. But keep in mind, guys, this is not a rookie card. These cards of Bronny James coming out of this Topps McDonald's product is not a rookie card. Okay. A rookie card has to be licensed by both the league and the Players Association. A rookie card has to be once he enters a pro roster. He's entering college. He is not on a pro roster. He's not in the NBA yet, but he will be. But to consider these cards rookie cards is an improper identification of it. And this is how come the waters get muddied. And this is how come I believe in bringing lines of clarity. Okay. I'm not saying that they're not going to be any good because they're not rookie cards. I didn't say that. What I am saying is that they need to be properly identified. A proper identifier for this set, Bronny James cards and everything in this product, it's a pre-rookie card. Okay. These are basically prospect cards. These are up and comers. These aren't actual rookie cards. So be mindful of that. It's cool to collect them. If you like them, get them. But I don't want you going into them thinking that these are actually rookie cards, because they are not. Let's move on now to, I want to do a reaction video to the Sports Card Dad, Dustin, who did a video recently on a rookie card topic, and he was asking a question, and he shouted me out on the video. Dustin, I appreciate you, man. And Dustin and I have a lot of mutual respect towards one another's work. I gotta respect his hustle, man. Whether you like it or not, the guy is he puts the work in, right? He grinds it out and puts the work in, and he's proven to be a little thick-skinned. He can take it, and also respect that about him, that he's not real thin-skinned, doesn't get offended very easily, and he kind of just lets things kind of roll off his back, and it comes back the next day and just is a picture of consistency on hobby content here on YouTube. So Dustin, thank you for that shout out. Every time this is like the second time he's given me a shout out, and every time I see a significant boost in subscribers every time he does it. So very appreciative for that, Dustin, and for your support. But in the video, he was asking the question, should we only be buying rookie cards? Well, my response to that is really, yeah, like, right. But I am also very biased, and I'm also very joking. But he made a pretty interesting, thought-provoking episode on, he was giving comparisons on, let's just use his examples as far as like a Willie Mays 1951 Bowman rookie and say a 2016 Panini Gold parallel serial number to 10, right? And so his thing was, he's a little torn. He can see why people would want to go to the 1951 Bowman rookie card of Willie Mays, but at the same time, a Tom Brady Panini Gold parallel serial number to 10 is also kind of desirable, right? So there's this tug of war, I guess, that happens, especially with us collectors who we're kind of at the 50-yard line of life, right? We're probably somewhere between the ages of 35 and 55, and we kind of do both, right? We do both eras. We do vintage and we also do modern, and so there's this tug of war that seems to come up once in a while, where it's like, man, which way should I go here? But a lot of it, I just think it depends on a lot of different factors, right? I think the easy cliche answer is to collect what you like, type of thing. But right, we like both, right? So it's like one of the things we gotta weigh these things out, and there's a lot that goes into it, and for me, a lot of it is it's going to be what's my budget, right? And what's my goal, right? What's my agenda, long term? And so a lot of that is going to depend on what I plan on doing with the card, right? If I'm wearing my collector hat, which way am I going to go? If I'm looking to flip it in my eBay store, or am I going to be wearing a hat of an investor and kind of sit on this card for several years, hoping that it will appreciate and maybe sell it for a bigger investment down the road? So it's one of them things. Number one, what's my budget and what's my agenda? What is my long-term goal versus my short-term goals? What is it that I'm going to want to do with that specific card? I do think that a lot of modern collectors put a lot of emphasis, right, on scarcity, right? And so the lower the parallel number, the better. And that has, to me, it has its advantages and disadvantages. There is something to that, but it's also skewed, right? And I went ahead and I looked up some numbers that would kind of help us decide a little bit better, or at least help me decide on Dustin's question here. But let's look at some numbers and lay some facts down before we make a decision, because that's always good when we're trying to figure out what to buy. All right. There's a lot of times we want to just depend on what somebody else says, and that's okay. But in and of itself, it isn't. I think getting the opinions of others, but then actually sitting down and doing the homework yourself, for yourself, you may find that you're a little bit more informed and a little bit more inspired to make a better decision for yourself. So I went ahead and did this exercise. I'm going to share it with you, just to get some facts down. All right. So I looked up the 1951 Bowman rookie card of Willie Mays. And this is only on PSA's Pop Report. I didn't look up SGC or BGS. But inside the PSA Pop Report, the 1951 Bowman has 2,256 total cards graded of the 1951 Bowman. Now, if it's all about scarcity, right? And we're wrestling between the Prism Gold 10, well, and if you have deep pockets to spend $10,000 on a gold Prism of Tom Brady, well, maybe you can consider getting a higher grade Willie Mays rookie card, right? If you have deep pockets, then maybe get yourself a PSA 9 Willie Mays rookie, because there's only 8 of those. Or how about if that's too rich for you, maybe a PSA 8. There's only 78 8s. And so you see, if you like scarcity, you can get scarcity in vintage. That's not going to be a problem, but are you going to be able to afford it? That's the question. Keep this in mind. And this is where I think there's a disconnect. So the 1951 Bowman, we figured that there's only 2,256 cards, total cards graded. But how many people do you think actually want that card? Let's just rough guesstimate that there's 3 million people in the hobby. Let's just say 500,000 people want that card. So if 500,000 people want that card, that 2,256 number is rather small, in my opinion. Even if there's only 10,000 people who want it. Let's just say 10,000 people are currently shopping for that 51 Bowman. Then 2,256 is a very small number. So I think putting that into perspective, allowing that fact to weigh into the equation, because we say, oh man, I can get those cards every single day. And yeah, you know why? Because they're heavily transacted, because there is a lot of people shopping for that card. That's why you can see that card on the market on the daily. It's highly transacted because it's highly desired. And so we need to take that into the equation. And what you also need to take into the equation, that vintage collectors, especially the old school vintage collectors with deep pockets, they're not just satisfied with one 1951 Bowman Willie Mays card. These guys, they want 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of these cards. And so that's kind of how there's a stark difference between the two. Also, we also need to consider how some collectors, right, like to upgrade, right? Maybe they'll start with a Willie Mays PSA 4, but they have an ultimate goal of getting to number 8. So they'll get a 4 this year, and then next year they'll add $2,000 or $3,000 more dollars, and they'll take that $2,000 or $3,000 plus their PSA 4, and they'll upgrade to a 5 or upgrade to a 6, and they'll take this thing in baby steps to progressively get where they want over time. And this is how come these cards are heavily transacted. So let's look at now some facts about the 2016 Gold Prism Parallel serial number to 10 of Tom Brady. Here's kind of the negative sides of modern cards that we need to consider, right? So let's take that same card of 2016 Prism, and I believe it was the 2016 Prism, but we'll just use that as an example. I don't know exactly which card Dustin was talking about, but this card has 17 parallels. 17. 9 of the 17 parallels are actually serial numbered. Now, if you add up all the layers of serial numbers, there's 886 total cards that are serial numbered. And there's 8 parallels that are not even numbered. So God only knows how many of those are out there. But I'm willing to bet that if we take the 886 serial numbered cards plus the 8 parallels that are not serial numbered at all, I guarantee you it's going to be more than 2,256. I'm assuming, right? It's what they call an educated guess. And so how scarce is it really is, I guess, the question. And I guess then a lot of that, taking everything into consideration, for me, I would take the 1951 Bowman Willie Mays. If I got my collector hat on, I'm going to get that one. And that's going to be my PC. And that's the beauty, guys, of being a collector. Because now if you're a collector, you have the options to do what you want, and you remove a lot of this uncertainty of which card to get. You don't have to guess so much, but I have a pretty good guess, just the way trends are going, that there's going to be interest in vintage for a long time. I don't think vintage is going anywhere. There's a lot of younger folks that are actually more interested in vintage than they are in ultra modern. And I think that's going to be perhaps a continuing trend that we're going to see in the years to come. But, if I want to be a dealer and I'm going to be doing a show on the West Coast where ultra modern is more than likely more desirable, and I'm going to lean towards the Tom Brady gold serial number to 10, because I know next month I'm going to be doing a card show in in the West Coast, and I want to get stuff for my showcase. And so I'm probably going to lean more towards getting to Brady. And I guess, again, I'm going back to what is my agenda? What is my goal for this purchase? And so that's kind of where I'm at with it. I love those thought-provoking questions that make you think and kind of make you sit down and get the old notepad out and start doing some homework. And this was a really fun exercise. Dustin, thanks for bringing this up. And that's really all I had for this week, you guys. I did have an opportunity to do an episode, a podcast with Mike Summer from Wax Pack Hero. That's going to be releasing soon. Check that out when you see it. Mike Summers, great guy in the hobby. Look him up if you don't know him, man. Great dude. He does have a YouTube channel, Wax Pack Hero, and he is a primary pillar of the podcast community. So if you run across that episode, check that one out. That's going to be it for this one, you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Buenos nachos, muchachos, and I will catch you on the next one.
The true Jordan rookie from 1985.